Hey everybody, my name's Joey, and this video is really long overdue. I've been posting lots of videos in Hawaii, but I haven't really spent any time, maybe a little bit of time, talking about what I'm actually doing here. Um, I was working in New York in New York City as a office clerk, so I was making copies and doing lots of legal document scanning and copying and sending out the mail, and so I got my hours cut, and it turned my commute into 5 hours a day from New Jersey, and then I was only working 5 hours a day, so it wasn't really that lucrative, I guess. And I've been trying to come to Hawaii for like the past 5 or 6 years, so I discovered this program called Wwoofing, and um, so I sent out a bunch of emails after I paid my $20 for the farm listings, and it was really interesting because not very many, a lot of people already had their help. Because when I found out about it, it was in December, or no, not December. It's December now. When I found out about it, it was mm, maybe August. So I sent out about 30 or so emails to people. A lot of people I didn't hear back from, but a few people I heard back from were on the Big Island, and then I heard back from a shrimp farm on Moloka'i. And I have aquaculture experience and everything, so I just decided to go for it. And then I wound up on Moloka'i working at the shrimp farm. And since that, like, I've met a lot of really awesome people. There have been a few woofers that have come and gone, Matt and Tessa and Mark. We're actually getting a new woofer today, but um, it's been really interesting. So, like, I live in a tent. Um, we have an outdoor kitchen. It's really nice. The work is kind of okay. Um, I have a lot of downtime, and the farm's kind of isolated. So um, I don't really. I don't know. A lot of woofers, it's probably really hard just because you can have a lot of downtime, or you feel like you're doing a lot of busy work or whatever. Fortunate for me, I'm a biologist by trade, so um, I've been meeting tons of really awesome biologists on this little tiny island. They've all been more than eager to help me get out there and do some field work. My first fieldwork experience, I have a video of it. It's banding Hawaiian coots, and that was with our Leone, the bird lady on the island. She studies birds. Um, but it was a really awesome experience. My first bird field work ever turned out that I didn't know that the Hawaiian coot was endangered, so my first bird work ever was on an endangered species. But practically everything on this island's endangered. Um, but then I met a lot of other really helpful people, like Janine, who's a freshwater stream ecologist, and she's been trying to hook me up and get me plugged in to the network here. But what else has been going on? Yeah, so like if you can develop a network, especially on this island, like since there are not a lot of other woofers, I've only ever met one from another farm. If you can develop a network, it's really crucial in getting off the farm and like getting into like the local culture and seeing what people are doing and having fun, getting out there and banding birds, looking at monk seals, going down to Kalapapa for bird counts. Um, that's been like the more joyous thing about woofing has been meeting these people. Um, I think I think if you're a woofer and you come to this island, to this farm specifically, and you don't have any skills on how to network and meet people in town, um, that would really not be good because I don't get off the farm much unless I take it into my own hands and take initiative to get off the farm. Like, sure, the people here like will help me with like food and groceries and stuff, like if I need to go into town and get something or whatever, but it's usually up to their discretion on how long we stay. And sometimes it's for a really long time, sometimes it's like we just go into town and it's just like a little blip. um, but it was really amazing when I first got here. I couldn't imagine like all the bird life that was living on this farm. It was crazy. um, like we have lots of Hawaiian stills, so the farm is like situated on a wetland. So we have a lot of Hawaiian stilts, night herons. Occasionally we get ducks, which is weird because you don't think of ducks being a tropical bird. And everything is in like non-breeding plumage. For those of you that are living on the mainland and you come here and you expect to see like all these birds that you may know on the mainland, they look completely different. Like, and they all like all the shorebirds look exactly the same because they're in non-breeding plumage. Where we usually get the fortune of seeing them in breeding plumage, and they're all like really distinct. But here, they all kind of look the same. So you really have to step up your game in terms of trying to figure out what birds you're seeing. And I'm not even a bird person at all. I've just kind of turned into one since I've been here. um, but yeah, it's really interesting. There are also a lot of invasive species. Um, so like the two dominant tree species in the forests around the farm are Haulikoa and Keawe. And Keawe is mesquite, so it's from the American Southwest. It's really good smoking wood, but it's really thorny. I can't tell you how many thorns I pulled out of my sandals and everything. And Haliko, I think, is from South America, and there are no thorns on that one, but it's everywhere, and it grows like really dense. Um, so the side of the island that I'm on Moloka'i, um, it's really, really dry. We probably get some of the least amount of rainfall in the Hawaiian Islands. Um, so it's kind of like being in Arizona during the monsoon season right now because winter. So we get the winter rains coming in. We get a lot of high wind. Um, so like sometimes I feel like my tent's gonna blow away. But every day is a pretty awesome adventure on the farm here. Whether it's like we're having some crazy problem with the pumps that I need to figure out, um, with the shrimp, or um, I don't know, somebody new is coming in, or you see a crazy bird, or you go down to the beach and go at like high tide or whatever and take the kayaks out and see a shark, um, or even go walking at low tide. I've even seen an eagle ray out there because Molokai is really cool because the island is really long, so it has a very long, shallow coast on the southern portion of the island, and that is basically the home for like one of the, I think, the longest coral reef in the United States, in the Pacific at least. I don't know, but so yeah, you'll see a lot of like nifty reef species, and a lot of the beaches. If you just put on some goggles or a mask or something, you'll see a lot of really cool fish. It's really, really amazing what happens when you're like, oh, like I'm gonna go swimming in the beach or whatever, and then you put on some goggles or a mask or something, and you go under the water, and you're like, oh my god, there's like all these crazy fish just swimming like not even 5 feet from me, and you'll see like sea cucumbers and other really cool stuff. Molokai is also really nice because there are not a lot of beaches, or there are not a lot of there are a lot of beaches, but there are not a lot of people on the beaches. Um, so yeah, it's a much more different feel than being in Oahu or Maui, where you go to some of the beaches and they're just packed and there are just tons of people everywhere. Here you can go to a 3 mile long beach and there will be like 5 people on the whole thing, maybe, or just absolutely no one. Um, so like a lot of the other islands, uh, we have a dry side which the farm is situated on, and then we have a wet side, The wet side is over by Halava and like the entire North Shore. And I guess you could include Kalapapa in that too, but Kalapapa is a little bit drier um, until you get closer to the cliffs. Then it's a little wet. Um, but the wet side is largely uninhabited. Like there are a lot of valleys that you can hike to and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Let me think. What else about the wet side? Lots of mosquitoes. I'm not a huge like fan of the wet side at all, just because there are tons of mosquitoes, and I happen to be a mosquito magnet. But they have an okay beach, and you can find like a lot of like really awesome shells on the east side of the island. The west side of the island has all the better beaches though. Um, so there are trade-offs, like probably on any of the islands here. There are trade-offs as to what side you're on versus the other. My farm is located really close to town. Like I've walked it before, and it's about 4 miles one way. So if you're not really into walking, I would highly recommend just either getting somebody on the farm to give you a ride or figure it out. But this is just like my farm. There are other woofing farms on this island. Moloka'i is probably really, compared to a lot of the other islands, it's really depopulated. There are 7,000 people roughly scattered around the island. And Moloka'i is the main city or town on this island. And that's where like a lot of the barges come to drop off stuff for the island and everything. Let's see, what else? The airport on this island is Ho'olehua. That's good to know. It's a very small airport. And very small airport. Yeah, so it's kind of the basic rundown. Like if you need anything, you can go to Moloka'i. If you want to go to the beaches, like to really nice beaches, you go to the west end. And then if you want to go to like rainforest or whatever, you hike up into the mountains, or you go to Halava on the east side. And there are a lot of festivals that I've been to so far. Like I miss the Christmas light festival or the Christmas light parade or something. So there's like the Festival of Aloha, which was like a few days, and I think the last day was the parade, and then there was the Christmas parade, the canoe races that happened like a few weeks, or no, they happened like I think the week I got here. So we went and saw that, and that was pretty cool. It only happens like once or twice a year, once for the men, and then once for the women. And they swim from or not swim, but they paddle from Moloka'i to Oahu, and Tahiti always wins apparently. They won this year, but yeah, I've been meeting a lot of really cool people. I'm gonna try to start volunteering in Kalapapa soon. Just need to get squared away and figure out what that's gonna look like. But alright, that's been my woofing experience, or at least a portion of it. Like, you can check out my other videos and see like what I've actually been up to in terms of like dealing with blister beetle swarms, and just going out hiking in the woods and going to Kalapapa and seeing lots of crazy stuff. But alright, till next time. See ya.